Yeah.
I mean, and it happens.
It does, and it sucks when you see you can't blame the unit, like, and you'll see it just absolutely break the unit or break a team. Like I've seen teams take really hard losses like that and just have to be like, all right, well we gotta shuffle it up. Like we got to get some new personnel in, and not necessarily leadership. It's not punitive. It's more like, hey, let's get you some different experiences. Like let's get some different experience level dudes back here on this team, and let's find a way to move forward because it does suck. And like once you feel like you lose that momentum too, like you totally get why somebody would be gun shy. You 100% get it. You're like, well, no shit. That's why you're being a little bit more hesitant. So
yeah. You experience an IED and seeing treating your buddy. Yeah, that you can absolutely see why that's you're going to be gun shy.
Mm-hmm. So, and I'm glad that you started off with caveat emptor, buyer beware, on what it is that you're wishing for there, because again, I think for all of the fun in GY, because GY again it was fun, narrowly escaping a hairy situation with your life and being able to kind of like bullshit about it later, not to aggrandize yourself, but just to be like, bro, that was freaking nuts. I had a cutaway at night and I grabbed my O2 hose and not my handle and like was tumbling and I got out of it. Like even stuff like that, we were like, oh man, I almost screwed that one up, but I didn't. It was close. You're like, okay, well, that's that's fun, right? I don't know if I would wish that on the next generation, because a lot of that was tied to warfare and multiple different continents of destruction. And some of my saddest times I've been on deployment, I've just been like looking out over things and just feeling, man, is this real life? This could be the moon. Just completely decimated like cityscapes, like rolling blackouts, like the middle of the night in Iraq, just being under nods. Like I distinctly remember like looking around and just being like, I feel like I'm on a different planet. Yeah. It did not feel like I was on Earth at all. It just felt I was just somewhere else. It was crazy, but
yeah, it is some of these places are like a hellscape, just because there's been so much demolition from ordnance going off, or like it's sad to see, because there was a lot of historical stuff in Iraq, right? And we were very
civilization, baby.
Yeah, so there were plenty, just like Afghanistan, there were no strike areas that we could not hit no matter what, and that's fine. Respect that, but it was sad to see the places that we kept pristine in on purpose, because we wanted to maintain history and legacy, and for the what was the civil it wasn't Mesopotamian. Boy, I'm gonna sound like an idiot. Maybe it was.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah. So, but then to see ISIS roll in and destroy all that history, that was
the first thing they did, destroy the history. That's how you debase a culture. Tell them that their history is not what they thought it was, or erase it completely.
Yep. But yeah, anyway, going back to it, I fully get the validation and I understand it, and even now I know how I'll act in a situation, because I've already been tested and all that kind of stuff. But I still, as it's been a little while, I still go, have I gotten rusty? Have I?
Right. Oh yeah.
Like, how will I act? And that validation, I hate to tell you, maybe it's just me and my own insecurities, but you will always wonder, how am I going to act?
Yeah.
And you start thinking of situations like, I don't know about you, but I always sitting here going like, all right, well, so, I'm always, when I would go to a restaurant and they see this at a table, it's like, I am facing the door.
It's Jason Bourne. Oh yeah, my God.
Like, it's just, and I'm not trying to say that to sound like, yeah, I'm always, but it's just it's a habit.
It's a habit.
And
it's a habit that you build in. You can't help but look around. And it is a cringy thing to be like, oh, I know where every exit is. The guy at the bar is left-handed.
I don't.
I don't. Yeah, right. It's not that, but you want to look around and be like, okay, yeah, I don't know. You know why? Scary shit happens all the time. People burst into gyms with ARs.
Yeah.
Like shit happens. Like if you want to like live in the white, just be like, just chill out with your day. Like you can do that, but I think there's a middle ground too. You don't have to be Jason Bourne everywhere you go, wearing your 5'11" pants, fucking 9 lines. These pants have tourniquets in them.
Yeah. Those are going to
Tight,
work real well.
tight, bro. I don't give a shit. I love those pants too. By the way, that is that is something that Come Sit and Relax would wear. Is pants with tourniquets in it. I
Come
guarantee
sit, relax,
it.
or shelves, whatever.
Or
Shelves
Shells.
would definitely wear it.
He's got those on right now. That booty of Shells driving a dump truck. I don't know if y'all know this, but Shells dumpy little booty, just
Oh,
absolute.
and
Oof.
you know what's in 18 disasters kit? Tampons.
Come on,
So
man.
he can
I
plug
don't want
holes with
any part of this,
tampons.
guys. I don't want for legal reasons. I didn't say any of that. Like that's not my. You take it up with peaches.
I also I gotta say, like, if we could just do away with assault weapons, then
I've
you
had
know.
it. What are you doing? Why you're pushing me? Why are you pushing me? I feel like this episode was great. We kind of like stayed to it. Like I don't need to rant and rave. It's 7:52. I'm gonna go. I got baby snuggles right out this door. I'm trying to keep everything nice and level.
No, okay. I was trying to get that heart rate going.
trying to get you excited.
Anti 2A.
Anti you son of a bitch. Shall
That's
not
it.
be
That's
infringed,
it.
brother. That is it. You're pushing me. Chris D'Elia has a great bit where he talks about getting pushed further and further right, and it's a great talk about just being, becoming more conservative. If you're young and liberal, you don't have a brain. If you're old and conservative, you don't have a heart. It's kind of like that thing. But that's kind of like the thing. As you grow up, you get more conservative. He's like, and I can't help it, but people are pushing me right. They're just pushing me. Like he starts transforming. He's like, maybe we should tamp illegal immigration. Hilarious. I just pick. Yeah, it's just. I hear
Hulk
something.
Hogan. Yeah, that's right, brother.
Well, I already talked about it. I can't wait to go to my absolute favorite. Shout out to my favorite San Antonio restaurant. I know these guys are big listeners of the podcast. They have to be because I assume everybody is in San Antonio. That's what our demographics would lead me to believe. A lot of people in San Antonio listen to the podcast. That's the joke. Anyway, there is a place called the Angry Elephant. It's up in, I think it's in Stone Oak is technically the area name, but it's right my boy's house. Fantastic. I walked into that place, had no idea that it was a Republican bar. I started looking around. I'm like, man, that's a big ass picture of Ronald Reagan. Man, wait a second. And I started looking around and I'm like, man, there's a lot of red, white, and blue up in this piece. And then I look over and it's like, dun, dun, dun. And they have shirts and it's Donald Trump's mugshot. And it says wanted for president 2024. And I was like, excuse me, madam, give me that shirt immediately and give it to me in 2 colors.
Sir, they're not for sale.
I didn't ask if they were for sale. You tell me if this is winding up in the paper, lady, but I'm getting that shirt and I'm leaving here with it. So now if we're going to exchange money over this tight, I would prefer that. But if not, I'm taking that shirt with me. Now you tell me what I got to do. I'll go to an ATM. I'll leave $40 cash on this table right now. I'm going to go grab that shirt. But anyway, so it was great, but it's 100%. It's like a Republican right wing bar. It was fantastic. I can't wait. To go back to that.
Texas, Florida. There's only a few places you could probably get away with that, and it be
that's where
successful.
You're wrong, my dude. That's where you're wrong. I think that you look at those things and they pop up like there's little corners of places. Vegas, it'd be successful in Vegas.
Oh well, yeah. The suburb, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Vegas would.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Shout out Northwest Vegas. What up?
Shout out Centennial Hills, Aliante.
Hey, Aliante. All my people in Aliante. Shout out to the nature park. I love your dinosaurs. You can dig up the bones. My son touched a duck there once. That's a true story. That actually was a true story. I was deployed to Iraq, and I distinctly remember this for 2 reasons. Number one, it was at the time where you would call home, but you had calling cards.
Yeah.
And then like we were doing I was a task force deployment, so we got hooked up, but I had this stack of cards that I would use to like call home, right? So I remember distinctly, we had our own like little phone booth thing, but it was out of plywood. It was just like a little like booth that they built so you could call home. But I call home. I distinctly remember calling home from this, and my partner at the time was like, "Oh yeah, your son touched a duck today at the nature park," and I was like, "What?" And then she was like, "Yeah, he touched a duck at the nature park." I was like, "No, how?" And she was like, "Because I like those ducks are sensitized to people. Like there's this specific park that we're talking about in Vegas, and those ducks are around people all the time, right? It's not like." They do not like, and they're all skittish. Like you cannot get close to them. They all run around with their little duck feet and they all run away. So I'm like, no way, because he's a toddler. Like he's a little kid. So she was like, I'll just let him tell you. So he is, no kidding, 3 years old. Is like, hey, did you touch a duck today? He goes, yeah. And I was like, how'd you
What
touch a
about
duck?
it?
Yeah. I was like, how'd you touch a duck? He was like, I sneakily snuck up on it and I touched its butt. And I was like, did
Okay.
you really? My partner gets back on the phone. I was like, did that really happen? She was like, exactly how he said it. You saw him locking in on this duck that wasn't paying attention. He snuck over to it, bent down and just poked its butt, and the duck freaked out and flew away. And he was so proud of himself. He was like, yeah, sneakily snuck up on a duck and that touched its butt and flew away.
No biggie.
No biggie. Out here touching ducks, dog. But it's a happy and a sad one because I was deployed, so I didn't get to see that. I didn't get to experience that with my son. However, it was in the middle of Iraq, and so it was, man, that had to be 2010. Yeah,
Good times.
good
Man.
times.
Yeah.
Good times. Anyway,